Hello, everyone. Today is December 12th, 2017. I'm creating this video at least a week or more before I plan to actually release it. I wanted to record this, while it was still fresh with me. And so that's why I'm doing it now. Unfortunately, I'm recovering from a bug, so my voice is a bit gravelly and about 2 octaves lower than it usually is. So I apologize for that. There might be a little clearing of throat here and there. But I felt it was really necessary for me in order to project the clarity that I'm feeling around it, to speak it so close to actually having received it. So I'm going to begin by saying what this video is not and what it is about. What it is not about is attempting to promote the selling of or the procuring of Bitcoins. I believe it's a personal journey for me that I made a decision to enter the Bitcoin realm. I did it based on spiritual information I had, some of which I'm going to share with you now, but mostly I did it from my own inner self guidance, that inner being that just says, this is right. I feel it's right for me, and it's right for me now. And I'm doing that. I've invested, and this is moving forward for me. I don't need to bring other people in. So that's not what it's about. What it is about is wishing to share what I believe is genuine information. That's my belief. I can't prove it, not even to myself, but I follow my inner guidance, and this is telling me that what I've received here is true. And if it resonates with you, then you can develop your own inner perspective about what you wish to do or not do concerning this information. It's something you have to weigh, and you have to decide on various levels if it's right for you to invest in Bitcoin or even consider that this information is correct and what you want to do with it in your life. Because it's not about just Bitcoin. It's about a whole perspective of what's really going on in our reality. It's another one of those perspective pictures. So first, I need to share with you that I feel, I've been given this through what I call the Thoth streaming, that the Bitcoin is another aspect that we can be looking at in regard to the Silver Lining Project, which about a month ago I was guided to create or to put out there for others to work with. For those of you who have not come to this page from the Silver Lining Project, because there will be a link leading you here, and you don't know anything about it, I will put a link on this page to it. But very briefly, this Silver Lining Project has to do with the fact that the internet is a gift to us from a higher realm. It mirrors, reflects the actual web of universal connections. And even though it's been tossed around and used this way and used that way, and there are all kinds of threats now that's going to, about the internet and how it's the negative forces trying to overtake it and all of these things, which are very real threats. But the Silver Lining Project says that we can change that, not through protesting or voting or any of that. And I'm not saying that might help too, but by the inner realm and how we can use the internet as a field to operate a trajectory, so to speak, that switches the magnetic pull from the Archon cloud and allows it to move fully into the Metatronic spectrum. This releases the control, the grip that the negative forces have on the internet. It releases us back to the gift it truly is within the light of Metatron. And there are 2 points that I have projected here on the Silver Lining site. The first one is a very basic way to work with this. The second one has to do with the virtual world that I work in and how to use that also for this purpose. And I was told at the time that there were more, and that more would be revealed, how we could use this intentional focus to switch the current on the internet, from the Archon to the Metatron. And of course, switching the current on internet also means is helping switching the planetary current as well. So now the third one has been revealed, and that is Bitcoin. So bear that in mind as we move along here. What I've received is that Bitcoin is operating within a specific quantum field, which it generates and propagates. The propagation is actually in the form of micro images of itself. No, not teeny tiny Bitcoins, but micro quantum fields as a nature. It generates what Thoth is calling natures, that are generated within the mother field, which can then become active in the microfield. So the mother field generates these natures, and then these natures, in other words, each of these microfields are spawned and accommodate what is being called here a nature or natural instance. To some extent, the other true cryptocurrencies are doing the same thing. What this essentially means is that a holographic system operates from the Bitcoin codes. These codes spun from true Metatronic or full light codes. So let me go over that for a moment because I kind of stuttered on it. So I'd like to make this clearer. So Bitcoin is operating within a specific quantum field, which it generates and propagates. The propagation is actually in the form of micro images of itself. These are little micro quantum fields, which generate these natural instances or natures within the mother field that can become active in the microfield. So the microfield, each microfield is spawned and accommodates what is being called a nature or natural instance. To some extent, the other true cryptocurrencies are doing the same thing. Again, what this essentially means is that a holographic system operates from the Bitcoin codes. These codes are spun from true Metatronic or full light codes. Now let's just keep that in one envelope, and we're going to move to another envelope here. And that is that several months ago, before Bitcoin emerged upon my horizon, certainly I'd known about Bitcoin for a long time, but before I felt I had to enter this field, and this was before that, some months ago, I was told about the Bank of Saint Germain, and that this bank was actually established, created by the real Count Saint Germain in his era, in his original time, because apparently he's lived a long time and may even still be alive. And that this bank has funded for the highest purpose and the highest good many things since that time, and it still exists. It's funded the Templars, and to some extent, not entirely funded the Templars, but it's given, it's transferred funding into Templars. It's also done this for the Rosicrucians, this all in the past. And we're talking about core groups of these Templars and Rosicrucians. It's done it for the actual country of the United States of America, the founding of this country. The Bank of Saint Germain was strongly behind this. Now, in the world of Bitcoin, you will hear in the videos following about Satoshi Nakamoto. This is a code name, I guess you could say, for an individual or individuals who actually apparently created the code for Bitcoin, created the Bitcoin, and gave it to the world through the internet. They just said, here, take it. And the cryptologists, the ones that can crunch things, and they took the codes and they created out of the codes, you know, the format for Bitcode. But so the Bitcode creator is this mysterious person going by the name of Satoshi Nakamoto. Most believe that he's not Japanese, or if it's even one person, it might be several, but possibly British. But Satoshi then disappeared. He's just gone from the scene. But it doesn't matter because the codes he gave are working for everyone. Now, I received that this Satoshi is giving forth what the Bank of Saint Germain has created. In other words, the Bank of Saint Germain has created this project that is the Bitcoin, that has become the Bitcoin. And it was given forth into the internet to do that. So you could say Satoshi is the Bank of Saint Germain. However, it's not quite that simple because I do not know, and here are the possibilities. Either Satoshi is a group of persons within the Bank of Saint Germain that know how to create codes and do things, and they have created this, and with the authority of the Bank of Saint Germain, or it's one person that is in the authority of the Bank of Saint Germain, or there is a person or persons, Satoshi, that suddenly got this idea, and he suddenly got it because it was given to him through the inner by the Bank of Saint Germain. He may not even know it at all. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Or maybe he is actually a card-carrying member of the Bank of Saint Germain. So you see, it can go in a lot of different directions, but it really doesn't matter exactly how. What matters is, what I'm receiving is that the Bank of Saint Germain is behind the Bitcoin. It is the essential creator of the Bitcoin, not to take away from any other participants, but that is the one that gave the codes down the chain to whomever actually put it forth on the internet. Now, does all this mean that the Bitcoin cannot fail? That it is only used for good? No, it does not. Bitcoins had to be released to all the people. And in doing so, negative elements can use it as well, and they do use it. But the high Metatronic frequencies embedded in the codes will continue to clarify and quantumize its light. So we're only just beginning with Bitcoins. Bitcoins began in 2008. That's just yesterday. That's a blink of an eye. It's a long time in regard to, you can see that this is a stable, more stable generative force. It didn't begin, 2 weeks ago or something. But from the perspective of spiritual energies and how things rectify and build and collect in life, that's not very long. So it is in the process of rectifying its energies, translating them, clarifying them, and building its Metatronic frequency in the real world, so to speak. As it does so, it's going to become stronger in that light. However, everything has an Achilles heel. And at this point, you can't guarantee that Bitcoin will survive. Maybe we'll get hit by a comet or something. and all the internet will go down. There's all kinds of things that could happen. However, that said, I'm feeling the strength of what is behind the Bitcoin. And maybe it will these other crypto currencies, they're picking up on the microfields of the original Bitcoin. So we might find a currency that's much better than Bitcoin coming out of that Metatronic field. Bitcoin is the doorway, and it's going to build, and then maybe this other currency picks up and Bitcoin kind of goes down the shaft because it's not needed anymore. And eventually we won't need any of this. But it's a doorway to understanding the frequency of abundance, the frequency of commitment to a generative light field that everyone can share and work with. So what does that mean for us, right now? Well, to me personally, it means that I feel a calling to engage it. And I think it's time for that in my life. And from what I've received on this strengthens my feeling about it. But I already had the call before I received this information. The way I received it is simply that I felt that I was going to do this, and I did it. I actually invested some money, and then I went to the Thoth extreme, and I said, well, what is the higher overview about this whole Bitcoin thing and the crypto money? I knew from experience that this source will not tell me, oh, yes, you can invest in Bitcoin. Oh, yes, you can make money. Oh, you will make money, Maya. Don't worry. You just invest and their money will come right into your hands. No, that's not the way it works. This source will not give me those kinds of answers. This source deals in overview, in spiritual principle, and understanding certain facets that back up, sustain, or do not sustain a particular dimension or subject, a field of energy. And that's the way it works. Now, you can draw your own conclusions for your personal self out of that information, but it's not going to assure you that this is going to succeed for everyone, for anyone in particular like me. You have to bring up your own field of consciousness, your own inner knowing, your core being, to be able to engage information like this, to come to your own conclusion for you, and how it relates to you personally, and in this time. Is the timing right for you? So all of these things have to be considered if you're considering investing in Bitcoin. And of course, it is a speculative venture. I don't care who created it. It's based on speculation. So all of these factors have to be considered. But that said, I feel that this is very, very powerful. It gives me hope for the world. Not that just we can all make a lot of money, but and that's true, but that it references a divine current and brings it into a generative factor that we can participate in to help us through a very difficult time on the planet. It will not be forever, because we'll be moving into a field where currency is not of any value on any level. But right now, it is a helpful and indeed a divine sent experience, I believe, for all of us. Again, it's an individual thing, though, if you wish to participate in how much and what way. All of that comes from your own inner being. So my inner being is saying that I am coming to the conclusion of this video. I'm sure there will be more videos from me on this topic. The website that you are on right now, where you're listening to this video, is my Bitcoin web blog. And if you click the follow link, you will be updated with information, other videos or whatever comes through, or from the real 3D level or on the spiritual level or whatever that I post. You might also wish to visit the Silver Lining Project if you didn't come from that page, and follow that as well, because they're very interlinked, these two subject matters here. So my best wishes to you all, And I'm going to end by saying, in God we trust. And so it is.